It's so interesting how we look at value in things. And it's one thing if you do damage to it and you accept it and you're like, that's my home, that's my car, that's my baseball card. Yeah, it's had a little wear and tear, but I've had it in my hands over the years. I've enjoyed it for 20 years of it being in my possession. It's not perfect anymore. But the buyer of it, the buyer who wants to take it now in possession next goes, why is there a big scratch under the hood?
Welcome everyone to 10 Tenths, where we coach agents out of burnout and into high-performing businesses that fuel their lives. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. My name is Matt. His name is Garrett, and this is 10 Tenths. You found the place that you were looking for, I'm sure. If you want to learn more about us, go to 10tenths.co. We have it all there. But today, Garrett, we're going to talk about the Benjamin Franklins. All about the Benjis. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. We got some good podcasting that we're doing today. We're talking about some cool stuff. We have some neat stuff going inside our community. You know, we're solving the world problems, you know, through our own conversations and everything. And you brought up this topic that we're going to go through today because there are some agents out there, and if you're listening, this might be you, that are experiencing some interesting things with inventory. Like, hey, I'm not sure why these homes are sitting. And we've talked about the whole perception of how people view pricing and things like that. We're going to go a different direction on this, but yeah, they're like, I don't understand why this is in there. It seems like people are making decisions to go other ways. And you brought up a great analogy for this.
Well, okay. So again, as you said, people are deciding to go other ways. I'm having so many conversations with people where they're going, it just doesn't make sense. I've got this listing on here. The value's there. Everything's there. I've done the cost per square foot analysis. The home down the street that sold, it doesn't make any sense why they chose that one over this one. And Matt, first off, it doesn't take very long as a coach to sit down with somebody and go, let's talk about the property. And at some point, you're not like, do you think maybe that might be the problem? Like,
I mean, it's helpful from our position too, to have that third person point of view on some of these things, because, you know, we've talked about Scotomas before, which are blind spots that we have in our vision, but these happen in our own properties as well. And they also happen on properties that we list, not just our own personal properties, right? And it's like, well, somebody can just deal with that. Like, that's not that important. It's like, well, but you start adding up these like marginal little things, and all of a sudden it does become important to somebody. And if you want broad market appeal, the more, quote, problems you eliminate, the broader the appeal you're going to find for the product that you have.
So this is where the conversation, Matt and I, by the way, you guys may not realize this, if it's your first time, Matt and I talk all the time. And we have been on the phone for about an hour this morning, just talking about what we're seeing happen out here, what people are up against, what the marketplace is doing, how people are choosing their real estate agents. We have been doing this for about the last hour. And we came up to this moment where we're like, well, what are we hearing the most of out of our coaching community right now and the people that are working with us? And this is the topic that's been hitting me. I brought this up to Matt, and what the analogy that I'm going to use for you right now. And if you're not on YouTube, you won't be able to see this, but you all are going to understand what I'm talking about. So I'm holding up here a clean, crisp $100 bill. Oh, aren't they wonderful? You all know what I'm talking about. You know, when you have one, two, maybe a couple, three of them, you know, in your wallet, when you open your wallet up, I'm one of those ones that when it's really crisp and clean, it is the last bill I will use. I like holding onto them when they're just perfect.
I don't even like putting it in my wallet sometimes at that point, because then it's going to get folded every time I open it up and close it.
It makes me smile when I open my wallet, especially if there's two or three in there. It's just like, oh God, look at that. It's great. Okay. So we have a clean, crisp $100 bill. Now, here's the interesting thing. This is going to hurt me so bad, Matt. And I had to find one of the ones that I have here. I just sold something, so I have a weird stack of $100 bills on my desk, and that's what led us to where we're at today. But here's another one. You can't tell it from here, but this has been wadded up at one point in time, and somebody flattened it back out, probably the bank. But we're going to take this. I'll give you a little. We're going to do this. I can feel like it hurts in the inside, Matt.
Oh, I love how you got the noise. It just sounds so like, oh, what are you doing?
Now we're going to unfold this.
Oh, no.
It's not It's not perfect anymore. we have two. We have one that looks like that. Now, here's the interesting thing. With what we all know is both of these are worth the exact same amount of value. Both of these, I can go and buy $100 worth of goods anywhere. I can walk into the grocery store, put $100 of goods in my cart, and I can hand either one of these to the person across the counter, and they will take them, they will give me the goods, and I can leave the store, no questions asked. Here's the interesting thing, though. If I put both of these bills in front of somebody and I said, by the way, I owe you $100, and I'll give you the option. You can take either one of these. Which one would you like to take? You will, and maybe there's some weird ones out there that go, I just feel better when money's been used. Okay, that's fine. But most of you, if not all of you, will take the crisp, clean $100 bill. And the reason for it is it feels like it has more value. It holds better energy in it. It has this energy attached to it that none of us can really understand, but you all know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the challenge that we're running into with a lot of homes on the market right now. And I started to think about this and like, what if you did this? What if you sat down in front of a client while we're getting ready to list their home and just say, look, I'm going to do an example for you. You probably want to use the same $100 bill that you're going to crumple up unless you're some sort of psycho and just feel like crumpling up $100 bills all the time. But there's a visual we can do here because, again, at the end of the day, Matt, I will never pick the crumpled up $100 bill if I have a choice of a nice, clean, crisp one. And there's something about it, like this one's pretty good. It's not perfect though. When you get a perfect one, that one that you've touched for the first time, probably only the person that's touched it. Oh, lucky day. What a great day.
Oh, like when you go to the ATM and like it spits out the fresh cash and you're like, oh, I got the new cash this time. Like it feels good. You're like, oh, I don't want to go spend this, right? And I would argue that those two $100 bills carry different value. They carry the same monetary value, but they carry different intrinsic value, which is very important. And whenever we are guiding people on homes, we're just focused on sometimes the monetary value of the property, right? But there's intrinsic value that lies in there that allows us to then appeal to more people. And if we're not thinking about that, and we're only looking at stats and numbers and things, we're going to get stuck with trying to find the person who like either doesn't see, and I think this is what's happening now, is in 21, it was basically all crumpled up $100 bills, just as an example. Not saying that the homes were bad. There were some great homes, but there wasn't enough comparison for buyers. They weren't able to look at the crumpled up $100 and a fresh $100. It was just like, wait, there's $100? Like there was no comparison. I just need to go grab that cash. Whereas now people have options. They can see the differences. And so you might even have people, and this is what some of the feedback that happens. People say, oh no, I think it is worth that. Yes, but it doesn't have the intrinsic value to get somebody to want to cross over and actually make the purchase. Jen and I were actually, for entertainment purposes, looked at some new construction communities the other day because like, hey, let's go out, like spend some time with the in-laws, look at some kind of communities and see what's out there. And there were a few homes that I saw that I was like, oh man, I would totally pay that for this house. That is there. Guess what I'm not doing? Buying that house. Because there isn't enough value there intrinsically for me to then want to sell this house and move into that house. And now, okay, granted, I'm also not a buyer in the marketplace. People say, well, but if a buyer's in that marketplace, same point though. There's all these different options. And I bet somebody could say, hey, of all those 5 houses, I can understand why they're all priced at that point, but I'm going to choose one of them, right? And they're probably going to choose the best one for them. And we can know by using this $100 bill analogy, Garrett, that a clean, crisp version of whatever we have is always going to feel more valuable to somebody than the non-clean, crisp version of that.
And again, I think as you went back to 2021, 2022, there was a time when people could look through that type of stuff. And in the marketplace that we're in right now, we're not I don't even have to say like they may not be able to see through it. We're watching it happen in real time where the seller who's saying, oh, but they can see through that. They can see what they maybe want to do with it. They can see how they want to make the house. They can see that, they're probably want to paint it their colors and their things. It's like, no. like as much as we can, especially when you're competing with brand new construction. The amount of people that I've talked to that are like, we have overbuilt in our area. We have tons of new construction sitting on the marketplace. Hate to say it, those are the fresh $100 bills coming off the press right now. They are crisp, they are clean, everything is done just right. And if it's not done just right, you can turn to the builder and say, hey, we're not happy with this, and we'll buy it if you fix this wall. I don't like the way the tape on the drywall is done here. Can you repair this before we buy the house? They'll do it in a heartbeat, and they'll iron out the corner of that little $100 bill that maybe got a little wrinkle in it, and all of a sudden it's back to being brand new. They have the ability of doing it very easy, but that's a lot of competition for a lot of you out there right now. I've had a lot of you, when you're running your numbers, they'll be like, if we remove all the new construction out there, and some markets, it's like 22% of the available inventory in the search they're doing is wiped out then with doing taking the new construction out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, so now we have the resale stuff, and if any of that stuff is damaged goods or a wrinkled up $100 bill, you've got some work to do. And I think helping these sellers understand the importance of that right now. There's a lot of people that just went through this past marketplace that bought things that weren't perfect, and they've dealt with it for the last 5 years. And they've been like, that was a bummer. Now we're getting out of that house. Let's get something that we don't have to deal with the things that we overlooked, the stuff that we didn't have taken care of because we didn't have an inspection done. We had to skip the inspection, and we had all these little issues that came up. They're looking at this next purchase and they're going, nope, it's got to be something we're going to get into. We're going to make a decent price on that property. But at the same time, like, I don't want to have to deal with things. I want that place working. I'm buying a house and I expect it to be there and functioning, which means paint, front landscaping, and whether it's front landscaping that's fully landscaped or just looking clean and nice and bright, manicured. It might be as simple as raking the backyard, just picking up some things and just cleaning those things up so when people walk out, they don't see that stuff. It might even be valuable to have somebody that is a little bit outside of you come and walk through your house and be like, what do you see? Because the stuff that they see may not be the stuff that you're even acknowledging because you've lived with it for too long. And you're going, it's not that big of a deal. Guess what? It is. It's those wrinkles in the bill that you can't see because you've had that damn $100 bill in your pocket for so damn long. It doesn't have the same intrinsic value to the new person who's going to take it off your hands.
Yeah, and here's what's interesting too about this, Garrett. It's like, that intrinsic value could be there if they make the purchase and then move in, but it's not there. It's like with the cars, right? You buy a brand new car. The worst day of new car ownership is the first little ding or scratch that you get, right? It's like, oh no, it happened, right? But your value of that car and what it means to you doesn't actually change. It's not like, well, junk it. Let's just go buy a new one. You're like, all right, it happened, but like now it still means a lot to me. But the next buyer is going to go, oh, there's a scratch there, right? The car still does the same thing. Or let's look at trading cards as a good example, right? If you go back and you look at how people trade trading cards or sports cards or even sports memorabilia, what's the difference between a card that is in mint condition, right? It's in the plastic, it's in the cover, there's no bent corners, with a card that has a bent corner. And everyone said, whoa, the bent corner one is not worth as much. It's the same card. It's the same exact card. It produces the same, objective goal of displaying the player with the stats on the back, the year. Maybe it's even signed, right? But that bent corner changes the overall value of it because that intrinsic value of what it means to somebody to say, hey, I have something that's in perfect condition.
Here's the funny thing.
And that is the difference with homes too. And I don't know why we don't apply that same thought process when we are getting homes ready for sale.
Let's use a comic book for an example, because my son for a long time was really into comic books. That one that's perfect, that's in the sleeve, that has no wrinkles, everything is just perfect on it. Here's the funny thing. You won't even take that one out to read it. Like,
it's meant to be read.
The one that has the bent corner on it is the one that you're like, oh, here, use this one. Read this one if you want to check it out. It's already kind of like, when I used to sell cars, Matt, I remember I had a gentleman I was selling a brand new car to one time, and I'm doing the delivery on it. We're going through, introducing him to his brand new car, walking around, showing him all the features. And I open up the hood and I'm showing him the motor, and he takes the key out and he scratches a deep scratch underneath the hood, like runs it across the metal. The paint. And I'm what, like, why? He goes, you got to get that shit out of the way. He's like,
at least he put it in a spot that he doesn't have to look at.
Yeah, but he's like, I know it's not perfect anymore. And he goes, I'm not going to try to make it perfect. It is what it is. I want to use it. I want to drive it. I want it to be mine. And I did that damage to it. It's okay. It's so interesting how we look at value in things. And it's one thing if you do damage to it and you accept it and you're like, that's my home, that's my car, that's my baseball card. Yeah, it's had a little wear and tear, but I've had it in my hands over the years. I've enjoyed it for 20 years of it being in my possession. It's not perfect anymore. But the buyer of it, the buyer who wants to take it now in possession next goes, why is there a big scratch under the hood? Like, okay, that's a little weird. Why is the corner bent on that card? Why is there that damaged trim? Why is it that paint is dirty in that corner over there? That one house that everything looks pretty good, but there's that one room it just seems dirty. Like, what is it? That's the stuff that is the little bit of damage, maybe from somebody else living in it, somebody else loving it, somebody else using it, but it's what the buyers can't see past right now. And and again, Matt, every single person I've sat down to try to figure out where the problem is, it comes down to something like, now I did find it with 2 bedrooms the other day. I have an agent that she's like, oh my gosh, all my listings that are not sitting right now, I'm comparing them maybe to homes that are 3 bedrooms or ones that kind of like, it's like, it's just a bedroom. I'm like, no. In my mind,
functional obsolescence. That's
2 bedrooms is like it. I understand a studio. It's going to be tight. It's going to be small. The minute you go up to 2 bedrooms, a 3rd bedroom would really be nice if we're going to get extra space and have extra things. And then you get to a 3 bedroom and you're like, we have an office, an extra bedroom, and in our primary bedroom now, and there's this space of 2 bedrooms where it's like, I don't get it. Like it's there, but it's not all the way there. It's like having pancakes without the syrup. It's like, come on. Like, let's finish this up.
Oh man,
I got pancakes. I got butter. But like, where's the syrup? I could eat a pancake by itself, but like.
And here's the thing: like, you're not going to make homes objectively perfect, right? And as a realtor, you actually don't have control over the decisions that will go there. You have influence over those decisions by how you guide your people. And objectively perfect is not going to happen, particularly if it is a resale home. It's not new construction. It's not going to be new construction, and that is okay. What we want to look for is, how do we do the best that we possibly can? Are there some nuances here that we can adjust and improve to make this home feel a lot better, that's going to help it sell, not necessarily increase its monetary value? Because even at the price that you're at, assuming that you're positioning it correctly, right? Because this whole discussion, I think, also assumes, Garrett, that we are positioned properly in the marketplace, quote unquote, right? And if you guys want to learn about fair market value and our thoughts on that, you can go back to a prior episode where we dove deep on all of that stuff. But assuming that all is taken care of, now we're just looking for the ways that when somebody comes into the home, they go, whoa, this feels like the home for us. And then you can use those things to also help you follow up with more marketing for those people after the fact. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is, how are we continuing the conversation and emotions and feelings about this property after somebody leaves it? We usually this industry is based on the home's got to sell themselves, right? And arguably all homes do. Well, so then make the home the best you possibly can so it can do that, but then give it some extra support by providing more after the fact too.
Matt, you said something really important, which is this doesn't mean it's worth more. And this is why this analogy works, is that the $100 bill still buys the same $100 worth of groceries. It's no different in this instance of the value that it actually holds. But when we're going into a marketplace where the buyers are being very picky and very cautious, the value's still there, but what they need to be able to do is walk in and say, but I want to pick this one over all these other ones out here right now. And this is where you have the opportunity to make sure it's showing up as the best way possible. If I was a listing agent right now, I would go this far. I would get a crisp, clean $100 bill, like as fresh as you can possibly get it. And I would go get one of those display cases where it's actually kept under plastic, where it's like beautifully crisp and clean, and have that as one of my examples. And then I would sit down with another $100 bill. And it could also be crisp and clean, but outside the case, and then crumple it up in front of them. And just be like, all right, I wanted to make an example here right now of if you had a choice of which ones of these would you want to take, which one would you want to take? Now,
great idea.
In my brain of like, there might be the place of like, well, I could use the $100 that's crumpled up right now. The one in the case, actually, I don't even want to touch. You can go do what you want to do with the case. Because even if you had a crisp, clean one and you crumpled one up in front of somebody and be like, same value, guys. Exact same value. You and I agree upon that. But if you had to pick which one of these, which one would you want to put in your pocket right now? And have them go through that and then transfer that conversation over. Okay, let's talk about your home and how we're going to be putting into the market right now. And in that moment, you get them to actually see a real example, a choice that they made, and be like, we really need to understand that about this marketplace right now. The buyers are different, the sellers are different out here right now, and we need to know how to compete with your other direct competition. It's not the marketplace that we're pricing against, it's the direct competition we're up against. And one of the things we have in our control is how this thing's gonna look when it hits the marketplace. And I would rather it looking like the crisp $100 bill rather than the one that's all wadded up in a ball over here that is exactly the same value, but it's going to get stepped over and passed by smart people just like yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I would argue that this is important all the time in any market. Like 21 was like stepping into one of those like booths where it flies the money around and you just try to grab as much as you can. You're not even paying attention to the quality of the bills. But most marketplaces, like it's set out on a table. And I would say too, homes are not currency like a $100 bill is. So there is some nuance here to take in, but I think you get it. I think people get this, Garrett. I love this analogy that you brought to the table and I think the visual of bringing it to a homeowner, and you don't have to do, if you're already listed, you can do this now. This is a great exercise that you can do now. And it doesn't cost you anything because technically you get to keep the money unless you're going to give it to the seller after the presentation. So this is free. You just have to go get the money. And then I guess you have to keep pulling out at least one $100 bill for every time you have this conversation if you want to give that visual of crumpling it up. But then you just go and spend it somewhere. And
it's not like you're destroying them. It's not like you're burning it there in front of them being like, how do you feel about this? Like, it's just one of those, like, now you have, which by the way, my soul still hurts a little bit from having to do that. I'm sitting here looking at so what happened was we had a sale that recently happened here and I was paid in cash. So my son even walked in and he's like, anything I should know about the stack of cash on your desk right now? He was a little concerned that I had other things going on. And it was laying so nicely, Matt. They were so clean and crisp. The stack was just like perfect. It won't lay straight now.
But now it's a reminder that you were able to provide some value through the podcast by giving people a great example. And so now that one for you has a new intrinsic value of the effort that you've put out to share with people.
I'm removing it from the stack. It doesn't get to live in the stack anymore.
No.
It's changed the energy. The stack has gone back to happiness just by pulling this one out. All right. So for all of you out there, this is a little bit of a quicker episode, but it was one of those things that we're watching this happen every single day. We're hearing it in our coaching clients. We're hearing it in our group coaching. So if you want to check out what the 11 Circle is, we have a group of amazing agents that gets together every single Wednesday. They don't have to. They get to come if they want. But they show up every Wednesday. We all get together. We kick around. What are we seeing happen in the marketplace? What is going on out there? The last conversation we had this last Wednesday, Matt, was awesome, which is we were talking about buyer commissions and in different states and how it's being handled, who's paying what. And when you have clients moving from one area to another, how do you set your clients up so they're not uber confused about why is it done that way here and why is it done that way over there? We had a full hour discussion in our group about how do you handle this? What are you up against? What is your area doing to see if they can get ahead of this and maybe lower the confusion for the clients? We talk about all kinds of stuff in there, but that was last Wednesday. It was an awesome conversation. So if you want to check that stuff out, come see us. We'd love to be able to answer any questions for you. We believe that your business should fuel your life, not consume it. We are all about helping you build better business, better life, do the things you want to do. At the same time, build a business that people on the outside look at you and go, how do they do it? They're out traveling, they're out having fun, they're living their life, they're on their boat, they're with their kids, and at the same time, they're crushing it in the office place. That is what our goal is for you all, and we appreciate you. We'd love to see you again soon. If you're not on YouTube, go check it out. You can see me, you can see my heart break a little bit as I have to crush up a $100 bill, so enjoy. Matt, thank you, sir. Thanks to all of you out there.
Thank you, my friend. Take care, everybody.